This is Charlie Mato-Toyela with a video on making Native American flutes. This time we're going to make them the old-fashioned way, except for my knife's made out of metal. So what I'm going to do from start to finish here is make a flute out of a piece of what we call sawgrass. It's a real light reed, and I say light, I mean it doesn't weigh a whole lot. There's not a whole lot to it. It's a good material for making flutes. We usually use it to make our mini flutes out of. And we've used it to make a number of other flutes and whistles and things over time, and it's a very easy material to make flutes out of. But I just wanted to show you that you can make a Native American flute with something very simple. So I went ahead and cut a few things. I've got some limbs, little pieces of hard cedar. These guys have been dried for years. I just found them on a tree behind me here, and I shaped them into some little drill bits. I've got two of them, different sizes. And then I've got my push stick that I'm going to use to push the center out of this piece of sawgrass with, because as you note, the sawgrass has links just like bamboo does. And I do have some other materials that I make flutes out of that I've done with pocket knives, and we do have an upcoming video, so if you guys are interested in seeing somebody make a Native American flute out of hardwood using a pocket knife. My first two I ever made were like that, and I'm planning on making number 3 on video for you guys so you can see that it can be done. But the main reason I want to do this video for you today is just to show you that there's a very simple way that you can make a musical instrument with the tools that I know you have to have at hand, or at least ones you can find. And so I guess we're going to go ahead and get started. I won't talk a whole lot during this video, simply because I know that we're probably going to have to speed some of it up, but I want you to see me making it from start to finish. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and cut the end off of this. As you notice, I've already marked the holes with one of my other flutes as a pattern, and I have a rough idea of where it needs to be cut, but if you know me, I usually like to cut it a little bit further. In addition to cutting it a little bit further, we're also going to cut a block out of this piece, so we need to prepare it to make a block with. If you notice, I'm just scoring it almost the same way that you would a piece of PVC with a PVC cutter. And after you score it for a little bit, you can just snap this end right off. Just like that. You have a nice clean cut. And then I'm going to go back, find my mark, and I'm going to cut my hole just a little bit, my bottom hole here rather, just a little bit further than that. Always be careful of your fingers. I have a number of scars on my hands. Those of you that know me or have met me in person know that I've cut pieces of my hands off making flutes. Fortunately, they grew back, but I've got lots of scars here and there. It's always best to be as careful as you possibly can, though. And if you just put a little bit of force on that after you score it, it'll come right off. We're going to set this piece down and save it for later and make our flute blocks out of that. We'll worry about cleaning this end up here a little bit later. And just to keep things going in order, I'm going to go ahead and take a hard little dried eastern red cedar limb, and the center in these particular pieces of sawgrass are very soft, so it's little work at all to get the center out of it. We only have 2 here that we need to bust through, because we only need the flute chamber to be open. This link we need to leave in place so that we can use it for our partition to make the sound chamber. If this is the first time that you're tuning in to us here on YouTube and watching one of our flute making videos, then you may not know from start to finish what we do, but I just want to make sure that I give you as full of details as I possibly can. May have to see if I can bend this guy a little bit, or maybe clean up that knot. really have to make sure I get that knot down where I can use it. And cedar, after it dries, is very brittle, so I hate to bend it too much. Maybe I should have picked a straighter stick. See how far we have to go. And we're almost there. I think I may go ahead and cut this end off anyway, even though I said I wasn't going to. I can always retune this flute, it's not a problem. If you need more information about tuning flutes, of course we have videos specifically for that. Come out with another set of good flute blocks that way. But as I was saying, if you need to know more about tuning flutes, we do have some videos specifically for that, and try to cover everything. Let's see if this little guy will make it in there now. Making flutes the old-fashioned way. Nothing but a pocket knife. How about that? One other thing I like to do with this sawgrass also is clean up some of the tissue up here, some of the leaf material. Now, sawgrass is available all over the place, but you can see with this right here, as similar as it is to bamboo, that it would be very little work at all for you to make a flute out of bamboo. In the same fashion, you just have to use something a little stronger than a limb to poke the center out with. At home, we use aluminum arrow shafts. We don't really use our bows much for hunting anymore, maybe hunting fish, because we're vegetarian now, but those aluminum arrow shafts make some excellent flute tools. Just want to clean this up a little bit. Makes it somewhat easier on your hands too. There we go. Scrape some of this stuff off. Of course, when I'm done and take it back in the shop, we'll no doubt go ahead and clean it up with some steel wool or some fine sandpaper. And believe it or not, this is the way that I made my first hardwood flute. It is a lot of work making hardwood flutes that way too. I know y'all are thinking to yourself, well, I didn't mark these holes. These holes are the sound hole and the air supply hole, so we know where they have to go anyway. And we'll get to work on them in just a minute. For the time being, let's see if our little drill bit here does like I expect it to. It does make this guy a little bit more round. Let's see, maybe my other one works better. Oh yeah, that's much better. Matter of fact, I think I can trim this tip off now. There we go. Piece of cedar is very sharp. I think this thing's sharper than my knife is. Those almost look like woodpecker holes. I see the sun's going down too, so I better kick this thing into high gear. Don't want any complaints about being too dark while we're making a flute video. I've got another tool here too that Jesse found while we were sitting here. It's just a rock. Might even be a piece of concrete that's kind of broke off, or who knows what you find when you're out in the park, right? There we go. So, I'm going to show you a little trick here. I'm going to saw down on this area a little bit, just straight across, because that's where I want my cut to end. You see, it snaps right off just like that. It's almost like I've done this before. At this point, I don't even remember. 900 and something thousand flutes. You'd think at this point I probably will remember a whole lot of them. Go back and saw it just a little bit more. Now, a lot of you have written me emails and sent me pictures of flutes that you've made. Some of them played pretty good. But I remember a few people had made some and it looked like they had used their pocket knife, because their track area, like the one I'm making here, looked very similar to this one. Any of you that have ever tried this with a pocket knife, don't get discouraged. It takes a lot more time and work to do things this way than it does with a lot of modern tools, or even with just a rod and some fire like I usually use. So don't get discouraged. I said it's possible, not quick and easy. Not really difficult either, it just takes practice. Now, one thing I'm doing a little differently here is I am making the square hole up here that I do on all my other flutes. The reason I'm making the square hole is because, of course, the square hole makes a much louder flute than a round hole does. the whole time I'm making this thing, I'm thinking to myself, God, I hope it plays when I'm done. All this bragging about you can make a flute no matter what. And it'd be terrible if this thing didn't play. But like anything, like I said, you can do it. Any of you following along with me at home with your pocket knife in hand, be careful, please. Hey, look, see that scar? There's another one over here. There's an old one there. These guys are just from a week ago. So, any young people watching this, please be careful. Please, please be careful. I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to take my hard stick that I've got, and I'm going to kind of round and shape this up a little bit, real carefully. Say, I want a nice slant in there, but with just a pocket knife and some sticks, I don't really have anything to do that well with. But this hard stick, this piece of cedar limb, does push really well for what I'm trying to do. Now the next thing is utilizing that same trick I showed you a minute ago. We're going to go in here and saw our track area just a little bit. Sawgrass is so soft. I don't want to do this too much. Aside from hoping that this flute plays, I'm also hoping I don't maim myself here on the video, because that'd be terrible. I want you guys to have to see that. Okay. Actually doesn't look too bad. Like I said, 900 and something thousand flutes, it gets to where you can see this stuff before you even make it. Hopefully y'all can see this track that I've cut into this thing. Just take your time. Know the material that you're using. I'm very familiar with the sawgrass, so I know what its breaking point is and what scratching it too hard is. I honestly believe that that'll make a noise just like it is, but I'm gonna see if I can't clean it up a little bit more. I think this other stick here was working better for me. Here we go. What would be really nice if I had enough time in this video to make a track tool. This guy here is really close. I bet that'll make a sound. Let's try it anyway. Okay, set him down. Now watch this. We talked before about the easy way to make a flute block. Check it out. This is like the simplest thing in the world. How about that? We even have some nice concrete sandpaper here. Back in the old days, of course, people would use a rock. We have a whole bunch of rocks. Watch those fingers too. Let's see. That's pretty smooth there. See what size we need to make it. Sounds like the National Guard's coming to watch us. You want to be real careful. See what I'm doing? This is a major no-no. Any young carvers, don't ever do this. This is crazy. You're guaranteed to cut your finger. And watch, I just saw it on the backside. If I was smart, just to show you the right way to do it, I could have done it like this. But bad habits are really hard to kick. So what I've done is I've scored it on this side. I'm going to put it on the back side here, and I'm going to fold it over just like that. How about that? It's the way people in the glass cutting industry cut glass. I've never worked in the glass cutting industry, but you get the picture anyway. Let's see. Lots of dust in that sucker. I'm going to go ahead and sand it down a little bit. Everybody crossing your fingers for me, I hope. Let's see. Oh, wow, the inside actually looks pretty good. This thing will just play. We'll have it made. Man, that is incredibly close. Okay. Oh, everybody cross your fingers. I don't expect it to play on the first try. Just don't get your hopes up. But, whoa! That is too cool. How about that? Flute made with a pocket knife, a piece of sawgrass. Like I said, you could substitute bamboo for this, and some really wonderful hard cedar twigs that I used to round and smooth these holes out. If I only had a clip, I could, I think I'm going to use my ponytail holder. Always have to be very flexible in some of this kind of stuff. How about that? A ponytail holder with a bunch of Cherokee hair in it. Sounds like a story, right? Let's see. Wow. I hope y'all can hear that on the video like I do. Handmade Native American flute, made out of a piece of material that, you know, is in a lot of our backyards. If you live on the east coast of the United States or in the south, the sawgrass is everywhere. But I brought some river cane thinking that maybe I would use it, but I know that it would take me a little bit longer to make a video making out of river cane because it's a little harder than this. But you can hear what it sounds like for a flute being made out of something that is very easy to find. Like I say, you can always come up with another material. I've used a number of weeds. Be careful if you use a weed because some weeds may be toxic. I've used a number of different kinds of everything from corn stalks to sunflower stalks. Of course, what's to stop you from using PVC? But there's a Native American flute. This is actually a Cherokee flute. Pretty good in tune. Not too bad. Handmade, pocket knife, and whatever amount of time it took us to make this video. But you see it can be done. There's of course a lot of cleaning up that can be done on this guy. You know, little stuff I can do with my pocket knife. One thing that works really well that several of my friends have showed me is if you take an old glass bottle, not new glass bottles, but like even one of our new becoming popular Mexican Coke bottles, if you found one that was broke, don't break one intentionally, but if you find it's broke, the edge of it makes a nice buffing tool. One of my Indian friends have showed me, actually a Muskogee friend of mine showed me that you can use that, and it does an excellent job buffing and making things shiny. I'll take this thing back in the shop and finish it up, but that's a pretty nice little flute that plays. That's available right now. Flute making book coming up extremely soon here. I know I've been promising it forever, but all my little tricks and techniques and everything are definitely going to be in it. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything for you. So look for our next upcoming videos. We'll have a number of them. We've got some new videos, a whole nother series on playing the flute and playing some more popular songs with it, and some of our new albums that are coming up on their way too. Look for them very soon. So signing out, check out our website, bluebearflutes.com. Facebook page is Blue Bear Arts, and come and see us again sometime soon.